Not only did the West Virginia Mountaineers put belt to ass yesterday in Morgantown, but did Pittsburgh just lose their coach as a result?
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about the Mountaineers again today on the football side of things, of course, right after the backyard brawl. And I just had to bring on one of our most elite orators, if you will, somebody that I have a lot of respect for. He just got done watching his Seahawks beat the Steelers. My dude, Spencer McLaughlin, who is just ecstatic over this win, I'm sure.
Oh, I most definitely am. I felt it appropriate to don the Seahawks jersey, given that apparently in this segment we're just dunking on Pittsburgh, and guess what? Go Hawks! Go Hawks! But yeah, instant reaction to the backyard brawl, man. What a football game! I mean, just wild swings to be up 14-3 and then down 24-14. You know, I was staring down the barrel of a truly disastrous week on my best bets. It was still a pretty bad week, but West Virginia was one that was one of my favorite picks because you take that many points in a rivalry game, and they got down 10, and I went, oh my goodness, how in the world? I thought this was a lot. I thought we were good to go, and then all of a sudden, they just found a way. And I mean, that drive to tie the game, I was surprised. I'll give Rich Rod his flowers on this because in the moment I was in a broadcast booth with my partner for a college football game, and I was ripping Rich Rod out loud. Not on my show, but I was saying, "How are you not going for two?
I said the same.
You just lost to Ohio. You are playing your bitter rival. This is probably the most underrated rivalry in all of college football that does not get enough love." Yeah. How are you not going for two? And you know what? To his credit, it worked out. They won the game. I still think he should have gone for two.
Go
ahead.
His philosophy on that is we're better conditioned than you. That's why he said at the end, as longer the game goes, the better for West Virginia, because and this is no exaggeration, they do a little bit more when it comes to the conditioning side of things because of the way they play. Which a lot of teams play fast. I get that. Oregon plays fast, but he puts a lot extra emphasis on being in better condition because we don't get 5-star players. So if you can be a better conditioned team than the guy across from you, I'm not disagreeing with you about going for two necessarily, but his point is we're in better shape. As long as the game can go, we feel like we'll start to lean on them a little bit as you go down the stretch.
Yeah, and you know what? For them to pull that out, like in a coach's first year, and I talk about this on Locked On College Football with regards to any coach that's going to, try and build a program up. What you're looking for, not just for your locker room, but for the community that you're representing, and Rich Rod represents it so incredibly well. You showed me the post-game reaction that I wasn't able to catch because I was calling a game, and it's awesome. It's really, really good stuff. You can see how much it means to him. But when you are trying to endear yourself to a university, fan base, community, donors, everybody, when you get there and the program's fallen on tough times, you need a moment. You need a moment, or you need a game that makes people go, "Oh, I think he's got it. This can be it." This was that moment.
Neil Brown never had that.
Yeah, in year one for West Virginia to be beating Pitt, and they shouldn't be winning. They were underdogs at home by over a touchdown for a reason, right?
This is my point. Point about Narduzzi, Spencer. He's in year 11. This is our first year with 81 new players. How is Pat Narduzzi in a worse spot in year 11 in this era than Rich Rodriguez in year one with 81 new players?
Yeah,
should he not be on the hot seat?
I don't think so. I don't think he is there yet. I think he could get there if the rest of the season snowballs downward. Then I think Narduzzi can find himself on a warmer seat. Obviously, we've seen programs willing to put the axe to coaches this year because Brent Pry out of Virginia Tech, pretty sure that became all but official. With the last report I saw, it's official. The last report I had seen was
which is great for us.
They're planning to.
That's our second biggest rival.
and Deshaun Foster out at UCLA. Like this is kind of Black Monday for coaches at the moment. And Narduzzi not being gone, I think is representative of the fact that he will get the rest of the year to try and figure it out. So I think for him, because he's got more equity behind him than those coaches had, you know, Brent Pry was in a, hey, you need to win this year. And then you got trounced by Old Dominion. Okay, you're done. Deshaun Foster was, hey, things aren't looking really good. What's going? You lost to UNLV. Boom. You got housed by New Mexico at home. This is not working anymore.
Yeah, running Montana for however many millions.
Yeah, I do think, to the fairness of your question, Narduzzi could be fired one day, and you can look back and say this was a contributing factor. But he wasn't one game away. Okay, those coaches were one horrible outcome away, and make no mistake, in a rivalry spot, boy, that is not a good look. It's a really, really bad look. But I want to pivot this back to the positive for West Virginia here and how good they should feel, because I don't even know if West Virginia makes a bowl game this year. They could. It's certainly possible. But you know what? Here's the thing. Even if they don't, this season is now a success. As long as they don't lose every other game, as long as they just win one or two, they go 4. What are they sitting 2-1 right now?
Yeah,
or 1-2, 2-1,
2-1,
2-1. Okay, if they go 4-8 this year, you can view this as a success. As long as they get 1 or 2 Big 12 conference wins, which I think their schedule could allow the opportunity to do. Big 12 is a very deep conference, as we know. Then you view this as a success because of this game. There are not that many games in college football that allow
for more than one.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. This counts for. I don't know that you could even put an exact number on it, because there's the emotional component in the rivalry, and it was at home. You didn't go do this on the road. Everybody that was in Morgantown on Saturday night is going to remember that moment forever. And if Rich Rod gets West Virginia back to where they're capable of being, which is towards the top of the Big 12, you're going to look back at this game and say, that's when it all started. That's when we all knew. And another great example of this that's Big 12 adjacent is Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State. In his second year, I didn't think they'd beat ASU, but I did say all offseason, they're going to beat somebody that nobody expects them to. And that was Arizona State. And Mississippi State should be ranked right now. They beat a preseason top 12 team, and they're undefeated right now, and yet they're not ranked. Why? Because the AP voting system is
broken, of course, totally.
Yeah, it's incredibly flawed, always has been, because people are asked to do, I think, far too much. And so for West Virginia, this is that sort of moment. Like a first-year head coach, you're looking for a moment, a game, a win. It's usually a victory. I guess it could come in another form, but really it's a win. That's kind of that landmark. Okay, we're here, we're doing this, and you should all believe in what we are able to do because of this outcome. And that is how that's how this landed to me when I saw West Virginia not just win the game, but to come back. I think there are a lot of coaches, a lot of staffs against a team that should be able to beat you on your home field, down 10 points in the fourth quarter. Boy, it got to that point, right, in the fourth quarter. Like that's a moment where
it was like 21 points.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams that that when you give up 21 unanswered points are looking around going, oh, well, guess we just don't have it. Nope. Year 1, game 3, West Virginia already having that. Outstanding result for West Virginia. Few teams had as good of a win on Saturday as West Virginia did, even though the stakes from a national standpoint were not as high. Wasn't as high profile of a game as Tennessee, Georgia. Wasn't as high profile of a win as South Florida beating Florida the week before. It wasn't on that level because Pitt was not a preseason top 25 team. But for them to have pulled this off is, I think, just such a testament to what Rich Rod has already established there in Morgantown.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. And especially because it's against Pitt, like you said. It just means more against them. Even Rich Rod admitted that after the game. Most coaches stick to the script like it's just a game. Rich Rod this is the first time I've ever seen him let him go. Like this was an 18-year monkey on his back. Like he got a standing ovation from the press when he came in. It just doesn't happen. You've been in plenty of those, right?
Yeah. That's not common.
Like, we understand that like this is the team you were about to lose. You're about to lose and go into a hiatus with for 3 years. And this is coming off the loss in 2007 that put you out of the Natty. So there was a lot riding on this. Obviously, I appreciate your insights on it, man. You gave me a lot of good points. Always love having you on, man. Let everybody know where they can find you really quick.
Locked On College Football on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. And I'm on Twitter at SMcLaughlinCFB. If you ever want to tell me that I'm a genius or I'm the opposite of a genius, hey, I'm here for it. By all means.
He likes the debate.
I love the interaction.
Doesn't bother him. He's a pretty thick-skinned guy.
Debate is good. Debate is good, fun, and healthy in college football.
Yeah, and we learned that very, very well this week. I think it's a great way to end it. Real quick before you go, Zach Alley earning his money on defense for West Virginia, right?
I mean,
$2 million
yes.
We paid him to come from Oklahoma.
Yes,
you know,
I don't know how. I don't think you could feel anything but really optimistic with everything right now. Like in this particular moment after that game, you can nitpick. The offense went into a lull, but then came alive in the fourth quarter. Okay, you want to see more consistency on the offensive side of the ball with Mark Yell at quarterback. But overall, there's nothing you could look at right now with West Virginia. Ride high. Ride high. That's my advice to Mountaineer fans. Ride high, live in it, enjoy it. This is your week.
Spencer McLaughlin, Locked On College Football. Thanks, man. I'll see you later.
Yep. See you, Paul.
All right, guys, we're going to go to break. Appreciate Spencer for coming on really quick. Let's talk a little bit more about this Rich Rodriguez is he the right guy scenario. Got a couple things I want to show you guys. Maybe you didn't see yesterday that'll just warm your heart right up. We'll talk about it next. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by the Game Cap. And look, when it comes to the Game Cap, we got a quick question for all you college football fans out there. If you could go back and sit in time in front of your school's biggest rivalry game, what hat would you wear? What one would you get? Yes, I said hat. For me, it would be the Backyard Brawl. These aren't just hats. They're the same vintage styles that fans wore back in the 80s and the 90s. And guess what? They still go for the same price they did back then. When you use code LOCKEDON, you'll get your vintage hat for $16.99. So go ahead and grab your classic bar or retro circle style design at Locked On for an exclusive discount because legends, they wear the game. And of course, we can't forget about our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots where you get tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with zero sugar and zero crashes. What I love most is about how portable they are. It's a big taste, tiny shot. You can take it all over the place with you, and you're going to get a boost when you need it. And look, honestly, I love how fast it kicks in and that it's sugar-free. I don't have to worry about crashing later on, right? So enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to get your own caffeine flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in store online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. Speaking of caffeine, it's segment 2. Let's crack open one dew really quick and suck us dew down. All right, so I'm going to pretend like, yeah. Hopefully that didn't get clipped. It didn't sound the best, did it? Anyways, sometimes when you're on the fly, that's the one thing about going live. If I wasn't live right there, when I said suck a dew down, I would have probably said something else, right? I would have just said, I probably don't want to do that. And I'll just write down the timestamp and go back and edit it later. Yeah. So I'm starting to think about I'm curious about you guys, how you guys feel about this. Because I don't interact with the chat like I used to, because it's just something that's been proven and the YouTube algorithm to actually hurt. It's good for the live while it's live, but it's bad for people that come after, which is a way larger number of people. Right now we have 167 people watching, right, on YouTube. So that's great, and it's great for you guys, but there's probably going to be anywhere from 3,000 to 8,000 people watch this video over the next week, right? So, is it bad for them, because they're not involved, that kind of thing. So anyway, curious if you guys just want me to go back to the old style where I can edit. The videos would be a little more fluid. They'd be a little more, they'd be better. I would probably have better stats at times, different things, because I could stop and do this, stop and do that, and I would all be edited out. You would never know. Let me know how you feel about that. All right, so Rich Rodriguez yesterday. Thank you, Raven, for being in the chat. The Discord link is in the chat, by the way, if you want to jump in our Discord. They absolutely have a good time in the Discord. So they're always talking in there. We got a bunch of loyal listeners that are in there. So if you want to be a part of it, just let me know. The Discord link is in the chat. But Rich Rodriguez yesterday, one of the things I want to ask you about, the amount of emotion that he showed yesterday, I don't even know if you can quantify it. And I really don't. It got me emotional. It got me emotional. So I'm just curious, because we haven't had this. We've had a guy like, we haven't had this right here. We've under the last, and I know people are probably tired of me going back on Neil Brown, but it's all we have to compare it to. Once we get beyond this year, it'll be different. But it just seems like I just struggle sometimes, because I just wonder what was missing under Neil, and then, I wondered, and then you get this back and you're like, oh, this is what it's like. This is what it's like to have somebody that really, really, really understands what it's like to be West Virginia. I know that sounds silly to somebody that's like, what's it different between being West Virginia and Kentucky or Ohio or whatever? There is something to that, though, because I said it earlier, we are looked down upon. It's people have fun bashing us. They have fun telling their incest jokes and whatever. Rich Rodriguez showed some emotions yesterday that really, really, really endeared himself to a lot of people again. Check this out here. For those of you listening, you'll hear Rich Rod's voice. You won't see him, but I can't explain to you how hard he's celebrating here. It's like, imagine you just hit the lottery, and if you showed me this response, I would say, yeah, that tracks. I mean, look at the guttural yell. It's guttural. Look at that. I mean, look at that face. I'm not trying to make fun of it at all. I know it looks kind of funny, but I mean, that is the scream of relief, guys. I don't think we knew how much this was bothering him. It bothers me that it was bothering him that much. Something about society, one of the things I learned in recovery is, and I know you guys probably get tired of my recovery talk, and I'm sorry. It's just the basis of what knowledge I have as far as any wisdom, right? And that's true, Raven. We all did feel similarly yesterday. I don't know if we felt as good as he did, because it was his fault. Can you imagine that? Like, it's the perception is it was your fault that we didn't go to the national championship. And you got to live with that for 20 years before you can ever really get some kind of relief from it. I couldn't imagine it. Couldn't imagine it, So you've got an entire state, and there's still a lot of people that hate him over it. Trust me, I see it every single day in the comments. There are people that still hate him. I didn't see many yesterday, but there were a few. I mean, there's still people that watch this show all the time that don't like him. And they're just not going to. So some people don't have the forgivable kind of gene in them. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Socially as men, one of the things people were told, especially coming up, if you're Gen Z or Gen X, or beyond that, or it's the millennials too, because I'm 40. I'm a millennial, but I don't feel like what a millennial is, right? I think when the term millennial came about, we were all really young. And now it's like millennials are in their 40s now. So it's like, I remember living in the 90s and the 80s, right? And what the generation was like. And it's like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's rub some dirt on it. You got a family to raise, like that kind of mentality. And men are kind of encouraged not to talk about something that's bothered them. And I just wonder how long Rich Rodriguez didn't talk about really how much this bothered him and how many people knew it. I'd gather to say probably less than 3 or 4 people, right? Probably his wife. Maybe that's as far as it goes. Maybe his daughter and son know. I don't know. Maybe Calvin McGee knew, some of his coaches, but and I hate to even reference him past tense, but he's passed away. Just thinking out loud about it. 2007 was a long time ago. I know where I was. It seems like it was a lot longer, honestly. And it's just crazy. So anyway, he's just as young as he ever was then. As far as how he acts and behaves, and even some of that he's still got that twinkle in his eye, which you see here. Rich Rodriguez really lives life, man. And I can't tell you how much it means to me to have him back. I'm trying not to get emotional over it because this is all we got, some of us. Excuse me, guys. So here's him singing Country Roads. Gosh, man. Something went down the wrong pipe there. I think that's Miss Rita beside him here. Good Lord. I choked myself up here. I apologize. That's a good picture of Rich Rod there. Oh, I think we're good. He said, "You're not going to make me unhappy right now. It's physically impossible to make me unhappy right now." The faces of Rich Rod. I got to be honest. These other 2 guys don't deserve to be on the thumbnail or whatever this is. I mean, these 2 do. You imagine these 2 coaching against each other again? Look how much older they are. That's pretty crazy, man. So I wish we could hear that. Let's see. It's hard to hear that. He said Nico Marchiol's a freaking winner. He loves that kid, man. He loves that kid. Look at him run. 62 years old. I haven't seen this yet. Holy crap, man. I got to watch his mouth on here because it'll. Wow, man. Those of you listen on podcast, I mean, it's just, I would encourage you to go watch the video, but I just makes me so happy to see this. That's his son beside him, obviously. Very, very good stuff, man. It really just means everything. I haven't seen this yet. I've been looking for this too. The handshake from Pat Narduzzi and Rich Rod at the middle of the field. I made a prediction in the offseason, and I just got to say, I was right about this. I was totally right about it. I said, Neil Brown, if I can find it, let me see if I can find the picture of it. Hold on really quick. Because it means like, I can't explain it. Hold on, let me find it. Let me find it. It's on here somewhere. I think maybe it's not. Maybe I can't find it really quickly, but you know, I don't know how better to say it, but Pat Narduzzi kind of, you know how they talk about aura these days and how people like they have this energy about them. It's like, it's almost like you can, it's like Dragon Ball Z. You can almost measure it, right? Like if I had to measure Rich Rod's aura, it's like it's way up there, If I measure Dan Lanning's aura, it's up there. Kirby Smart, it's up there. Pat Narduzzi's got pretty high aura too, like as far as alpha male kind of energy, right? Like, like I'm kind of like a tough guy kind of energy you put off. Now, I think Narduzzi is the kind of guy that puts it off. I don't know if he actually is it, but he puts it off. Look at his head body language. And this is like, if you look at the on the field reactions between him and Rich Rod going into the game, it was similar. Like Rich Rod just outdoes him from a alpha male standpoint. Like you could just tell, like, it's like when a lion comes around the king lion, they kind of lower their head just a little bit. That's the feeling I got from Narduzzi around Rich Rod. I don't care if people think I'm crazy or not. Well, Neil Brown was like that around Narduzzi, in my opinion, especially like it's just the way they interacted with each other. It was almost like he was going to give Neil Brown a noogie. Like, honest to God, that's how it felt when I watched him interact in the midfield. Like he was grabbing Neil Brown by the shoulders and shaking him like, almost like a bully. Not a bully. That's too strong of a word. Just like a little brother, like your little brother kind of thing. And with Rich Rod, that shit ain't going down. It's something that always bothered me, So yeah, he was respectful in the handshake, John. That's correct. He was. I have nothing for Pat Narduzzi. I'm sorry. The reason for it is he he perpetuated things that were 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, and made it seem like it was today. The batteries, the beer cans. Then they said Eli Holstein got punched. Go watch the replay. He did not get punched. He got hit in the face on a play, on a tackle, and his face mask, his helmet came loose, and his face mask hit him right on the bridge of the nose. I slowed it down and rewound it like 10 times. It's very simple to see. It's his face mask did it. He might think he got punched. It might feel like you got punched, but I haven't been able to find that. Do you don't think they would have found that on the replay that he got punched? If he got punched, like just think about it. Just use your brain for a second. If you got punched, if somebody got, even if it was on the pile, they can find it for the most part. So, so they perpetuate these lies. They say they got spit on leaving the field. Like, it's just, I have nothing for the guy because he's always put us down. He said their fans didn't want to come here because we were like zoo animals. I have nothing for him, man. I never will because he put down West Virginia. That's why. I don't know if I could whoop him, but at times that's kind of how I felt about it. Like, I wish I could whoop him, not really, but like just talking crap, Let's go to break. We'll put a bow on this odd episode when we come back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. When it comes to Prize Picks, you got to understand, man, the daily fantasy app is making the right call actually pay off. You and I make conscious decisions every day. On Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football being back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action because just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. So it's quick, it's easy, and honestly, my favorite way to follow along with football. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after you pay your first dollar lineup. And that's Locked On College for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And last but not least, our friends over at FanDuel want to say it's another big moment on Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV prevents – oh, wrong one. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping your eye on your fantasy lineup. So are you ready to play? Well, download your FanDuel app today by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. All right, guys. Thank you for being here again. I'm sorry. I'm doing a lot of videos, but I'm basking in this. It means a lot. It means a lot to a lot of people, like Rich Rodriguez said. I don't know what the rest of the season's going to hold for us. Neither do you, but I know Kansas is next week, and they're favored by 11.5 points right now. There's probably a reason for that. If I could get in on West Virginia right now, I would do it. I don't think, I think it's going to be tough for us to win the game. I don't think that it's going to be 11.5 points. I could be wrong. Kansas's defense has been very susceptible so far this year. In the one Power 4 game they played in. And they played against a guy in Bo Pribula that really lit them up. I mean, he was 30 for 39, 334 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the game. They're susceptible through the air. We can definitely play with them in the air. Jamal Roberts had 13 carries for 143 yards and a touchdown. Kevin Coleman, who is not better. I watched the game. I wouldn't say he's better than Cam Bond. Lit him up. So, you don't think Rich Rodriguez is going to watch that Missouri tape and figure out what they did and try to do some of that today or Saturday? Yes, he is. Defensively, this is our worst matchup so far, in my opinion. I think this is probably – it's the best offense we played. Kansas can really score. They put up 31 in the SEC defense. And if you look at their other 2 games they played this year, they dominated Fresno State They dominated Fresno State and they dominated Wagner. Fresno State was a team people respected coming into the year. And they beat Oregon State and they beat Southern U last week. So, now Oregon State, as far as I know, they're not any good, but maybe that explains it. But Texas Tech struggled with Oregon State a little bit yesterday. So just something to think about. Either way, Kansas is going to be a matchup for us. I think it's going to be a little tough because of Jalen Daniels' ability to move. He's going to be more like Parker Navarro than he is like Eli Holstein. So I'll be watching with bated breath in that game to see if we're able to corral him in the pocket, keep him, in the pocket. If Daniels is able to get out and about, it could be a long day for us. Now, we take solace in Andy Kotelnicki is no longer there. I'm sorry, but whoever the coordinator is now still ain't him. So I think we're going to be all right. Make sure you like the video, guys. Hit that button. Subscribe if you're new around here. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for all your support, for coming here and listening to Spencer and I talk about that in the first segment. Really fun. Love having Spencer on. He's a really talented guy, so very, very blessed to have him on here. And I thank you guys for always supporting me, even through my ups and my downs. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I make a fool out of myself, and you guys continue to come back. So I can't thank you enough for that too. So it's another great moment for Locked On guys and college football fans. Locked On and Fire TV are going to present to you College Football's Kickoff. It's your ultimate college football weekly preview with Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12, who leads the conversation alongside 2-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson. former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview that only Locked On can do. Catch college football kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. And I will see you guys on the next one. Oh, yeah, we are big underdogs in the next game for those of you asking in the comments. 11.5 points the last I checked. So it's big. It's a big spread. It's worse than this week. If I were you, I would get on there and take the Mountaineers now before it moves up, because it's going to move up to probably 5 or 6. And then you're going to have to, make a gut decision there, because they are probably a little bit more complete team than us right now. But either way, we'll talk about that this week. Doesn't mean I'm picking us to lose. I'm just saying we'll talk about it then. Love you guys. See you later. And cue them country roads, baby.